Tomorrow morning, every human being on Earth wakes and stops aging. Past your physical prime, the biological clock simply halts. Lifespans are locked in at exactly 500 years. The immediate reaction is pure relief. The constant background anxiety of running out of time or succumbing to an early physical decline disappears overnight. But almost immediately, the math of everyday life starts to break down. We built our deepest institutions around the strict limitation of time. Take the concept of marriage. Promising to spend the rest of your life with someone carries a very specific weight when you expect to live to 80. When a vow translates to a mandatory 450 years with the exact same person, romantic forever becomes a deeply claustrophobic reality. That same crushing math ripples into the economy. The entire concept of retirement was designed to give us a brief window of rest at the very end of a short timeline. This timeline compares a traditional working life to our new reality. Historically, 40 years of labor paid for roughly 20 years of leisure, but you cannot stretch that same 40 years of income to cover a 400-year retirement. The money simply runs out. To survive a 5-century lifespan, the average person has to remain in the active workforce for 3 straight centuries. Having unlimited time does not grant you unlimited freedom. It extends the daily grind indefinitely, turning the ultimate biological gift into an endless economic sentence. While individuals struggle with burnout, civilization itself hits a structural law. The real danger of living to 500 is collective permanence. What happens to governments, legal systems, and massive corporations when the current politicians and CEOs literally never age out of their seats? Without the natural mechanism of generational succession, institutions paralyze. Power solidifies in the hands of whoever held it on the day we stopped aging. A society that never experiences a changing of the guard cannot progress. It suffocates under the ideas, biases, and rules of a single unyielding generation. Then there is the physical toll on the planet itself. Global birth rates continue adding millions to the population every year, but the exit door has been permanently welded shut. Cities are forced into extreme architectural evolution. They stop building outward and start building deep underground, layering transit and housing, until borders are completely sealed. Because populations only accumulate, they never leave. Staring at this lack of physical space forces a psychological shift. People look around at a sealed, finite, overcrowded world and begin to question whether they should bring children into it. This chart shows the global birth rate reacting to the disappearance of space. It falls off an absolute cliff, but mapping total population growth on top reveals the true demographic gridlock. The sheer volume of people trapped on Earth cancels out the birth collapse. When a person has 5 centuries to live, the urgency of right now is defeated by the guarantee of someday. The biological drive to create a next generation quietly fades away. If we pull back from global systems and look closely at a single human mind surviving into year 300, the internal changes are just as severe. We see a profound psychological flattening. When you have survived 3 centuries, you've experienced every possible milestone, heartbreak, career high, and tragedy multiple times over. The highs stop feeling high and the lows stop registering. Historically, human innovation and risk-taking were fueled entirely by the pressure of a short, fragile life. We built things quickly because we knew we were running out of time. Erasing that deadline bankrupts the value of individual experiences. Infinite time takes human ambition and flattens it into absolute apathy, which brings us to the final question of a 500-year lifespan. In a perfectly secure world, what do human beings actually fear? The fear of death never really leaves us. It simply transforms into a profound, creeping fear that we have forgotten how to actually live. Mortality and rigid deadlines were never the enemies of human progress. They were the essential engines that gave our actions meaning in the first place. Because having all the time in the world does not protect you from the quiet tragedy of wasting it.